Radio, presented every Monday night to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense. Listen to the new Suspense with a company of Hollywood actors and surprising guest stars, Monday nights at 10, with encore performances at 1 a.m., right here on WHAV. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
WAVE weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with WAVE weather, and as we head through tonight, we're looking at generally clear conditions and temperatures somewhere around 60, and then on your Tuesday, it's partly to mostly sunny and warmer and humid too, with a high of 84. Clear to partly cloudy and 68 Tuesday night with a chance of some fog on the coast. Wednesday, a fair amount of sunshine, 86 degrees. Well inland, some spots may hit 90, and then we see some showers and thunderstorms for Thursday with a cold front coming in at 78. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Good evening, everyone. This is Tim Coco, and you're watching the Open Mic Show, and maybe you're wondering why I have this Market Basket hat on and this Market Basket apron. Well, I'm showing my solidarity in support of Market Basket workers. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you probably have heard about this dispute. Oh, it's been a long time in coming, about 20 years or so. The battle between cousins Arthur S. Demoulas and Arthur T. Demoulas. Well, it sounds like the employees and many shoppers have sided with Arthur T., who served as, and here's even my Market Basket name tag. I have 0 years on mine. But I thought this would work very nicely. All right, maybe Nate will recenter the camera and even zoom in on it. Market Basket hat, Market Basket name tag, in solidarity with the workers of Market Basket. All right, of course there's a little delay, so I can't tell where you are on that, okay? All right. The Open Mic Show this hour is being brought to you by Northern Essex Community College. Expect more at Northern Essex. Where and how to listen to the program? I know we have very many new listeners and viewers tonight, so let me give you all the options. You can watch and listen to the Open Mic Show at WHAV.tv on your computer or smartphone. WHAV.tv. If you're in Haverhill, watch the program on HC Media, formerly known as Haverhill Community Television, Channel 22. If you're having trouble with video, you can listen to the program at WHAV.net. There's an automatic player that, if you're on a computer, will start playing automatically. If you're on a smartphone, you want to scroll down to the player and hit the play button. Also on AM radio, 1640, and the audio behind the bulletin board on cable television channels Andover Channel 8, Methuen Channels 8 and 22 on Comcast, Channel 32 on Verizon Fios, Plasto Channel 17 and 23, Sandown Channel 17. I'm inviting Market Basket employees, including managers. I'm inviting Market Basket shoppers and Market Basket workers to give us a call tonight on the Open Mic Show, 978-374-1900. Again, 978-374-1900. If you're shy or otherwise would like to be quiet, you can email me your messages at tcoco, Tcoco, at WHAV.net. And there's also a message board below the TV screen at WHAV.tv where you can type messages to me. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take a quick look at that now and see if anything has already come in. David Goudswood, Open Mic Show historian, usually calls to talk about my taste in ties. I wonder what he thinks of this getup. All right, attention, market basket shoppers. Let me tell you a little anecdote. If you're a long-time listener of WHAV, you probably already know this, but there is a connection between WHAV and Market Basket. That connection is Phil Christie. Phil Christie is the announcer you hear on WHAV every 15 minutes. He got his start at WHAV in 1948. Well, Phil Christie is also the voice you hear over the intercom at all of the Market Basket stores. He's the one that's saying, attention shoppers, and telling you what's on sale and all of the specials. So there is already a connection between WHAV and Demoulas Market Basket, and that is Phil Christie. Again, 978-374-1900. All right, what is really fascinating about this case, which is going to help us next week, and I'll explain that in a minute. What's really fascinating about this case is that you have employees, rank-and-file employees and managers in absolute solidarity. Thousands of workers, and including this morning, thousands appeared at a Tewksbury Market Basket and put on a protest. But what's incredible is the group wants their CEO. They want Arthur T. Demoulas. Now, that's unusual. Oftentimes you hear employees don't like their bosses. I mean, Nate doesn't like his boss. And you wonder, how could this be? Well, the employees and managers who are protesting the firing of Arthur T. Demoulas as Chief Executive Officer of Demoulas Market Basket say this is all about greed. And this is a long battle. Many of you have followed it. The cousins, Arthur S. and Arthur T., have battled for years for control of the Market Basket chain. Thanks to there was a court ruling and a particular shareholder who sided with one and then the other. But Arthur T. has been CEO for some time, and he managed to win the respect of employees, managers, shoppers, and the public. And in fact, maybe you've seen, and this is not a commercial for Market Basket, but maybe you've seen you already have lower prices in general, and then you get another 4% off through the end of the year. At least that's what was planned. That remains to be seen whether that kind of special remains. Right now, though, it's very difficult to really shop at many Market Basket stores because the warehouse staff stopped working and apparently were subsequently fired. But shipments to the stores have been altered. Our own Nathan E. Webster III took some, and he has a narrative he'll talk to us about later. So as we do the program, you'll see some photographs of empty or nearly empty shelves at Market Basket. You'll also see a photograph of the Market Basket store in Central Plaza in Haverhill. So, but this story, I brought it to the attention just today of economist Richard Wolff, Professor Richard Wolff. And he's going to be on the program next week to discuss this. I wrote to Professor Wolf, who is professor of economics emeritus at UMass Amherst. He taught economics from 1973 to 2008. He's currently a visiting professor in the graduate program in international affairs of the New York University, New York City. Also teaches classes regularly at the Brecht, if I'm saying that right, Forum in Manhattan. Well, Professor Richard Wolf, if you listen to WHAV regularly, you may have heard him on alternative radio or on the David Pakman program. But Professor Wolf has a great interest in the rights of workers. And he believes, and I won't speak too much for him because he'll be here next week on the program, but he believes workers should have a say in how management operates, and in fact, that is also in the best interest of the company. Because he's in New York, he may have missed some of this, so I wrote to him today, and he wrote back, "You are absolutely right. This is perfect for what my programs try to do." He has a radio show as well in New York. "Thanks so much for bringing this to my attention. I plan to discuss the whole market basket controversy on my show this week that goes to 35 stations around the country, including several New England stations. And I'll be sure the WHAV brings that to you as well. If the broader economics of the issues raised by the employees' courageous and important actions might be of interest, I'll be glad to speak with their folks as well. Thank you again for getting us this information. It has been very interesting and even exciting for me to learn about the struggles within the Demoulas family and between some of its members, shareholders, and the employees over the profit-sharing plan, etc." Now, contrary, if you were watching Channel 25 this weekend, unfortunately, contrary to what was reported there, these employees are not looking for pay raises. They're not looking for new benefits. They're actually quite satisfied with the working conditions. Their concern is that our CEO, Arthur T., and unfortunately we're going to have to use middle initials a lot tonight because of the confusion between the cousins, but Arthur T. Demoulas has shared profits with them. He has been known to visit hospital beds and to help families who are going through difficulties or grief. And that is what we are told the greatest CEOs do. And so perhaps he ranks among them. He has been relatively quiet, matter of fact, completely quiet since his firing because the board of directors suddenly tilted in the favor of his cousin Arthur S. If you may recall, a year ago this was threatened, and there was a big employee rally outside of the board of directors meeting that took place at the Wyndham Andover Hotel. Arthur T. Demoulas survived that fight, but now he is, as a matter of fact, there was a lawsuit on this, and I don't know the outcome of it. But apparently the new chairman of the board of Demoulas Market Basket is a person named, I think it's off the top of my head, Keith Cowan. And Cowan served previously as a director who supported Arthur S. Demoulas. And Arthur T., or Artie maybe will be a nice way to refer to him, had challenged Cowan's appointment as now an independent director. All right, so you can see the battle here. There's Arthur S. directors, there's Arthur T. directors, and then there are two independent directors. Artie protested the appointment of Cowan as an independent director since, and it makes sense, Cowan was previously on the side of Arthur S. So certainly a complicated battle. But how many of you went to Market Basket over the last few days, maybe had difficulty with lack of produce or dairy products? Did you find that? How many of you skipped going altogether because you were siding with employees? How many of you knew nothing about this until now? Give us a call, 978-374 1900. This is the Open Mic Show, and we're going to be spending some time tonight. And again, I'm in market basket garb to show solidarity with the workers. So call the program. I think it's time for a brief break anyway. Call the program, and we will be very interested in talking with you after this brief break.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Phil Christie here. Last year, WHAV helped local nonprofits by airing 8,780 community spotlight messages. Only local radio can bring you this level of public service, but only WHAV does.
Catch the wave!
The most trusted man in America, news anchor Walter Cronkite, once said, "It is absolutely essential in a democracy to have competition in the media, a lot of competition." That sentiment is one of the driving forces behind WHAV's expanded local news effort. This is News Director Dana Esmail inviting you to listen to my hourly weekday newscasts right here on WHAV. You'll also find the area's most comprehensive local news reporting at WHAV.net on your computer or smartphone. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free.
And that's the way it is.
Expect more from Northern Essex. With campuses in Haverhill and Lawrence, Northern Essex Community College is the only state college located in the Lower Merrimack Valley region of Massachusetts. Northern Essex offers over 70 associate degree and certificate programs in the areas of health, business, computers and technology, criminal justice, liberal arts, and more. NECC also provides hundreds of non-credit courses designed for career growth and personal enrichment. For more information, visit necc.mass.edu. Expect more from Northern Essex.
Today is July 21st. On this day in 1918, people in the Cape Cod town of Orleans were astonished to see a German U-boat surface offshore and begin firing on an unarmed tugboat and the 4 barges it was pulling. Torpedoes set the tug ablaze and injured its crew, while constant shelling sank the barges. Thanks to the skill and courage of Coast Guardsmen, everyone was rescued. Some of the shells fired from the sub landed on the beach, making this the first time the U.S. mainland had been attacked since the War of 1812. And the only time the country was attacked during World War I. The state had been producing arms, vehicles, and supplies for the war effort and sending soldiers abroad, but no one expected what occurred that Sunday in Orleans. For more about this and other Mass Moments, go online to massmoments.org, brought to you by the Massachusetts Foundation for the Humanities.
Some gold favorites, the most music. Catch the wave. WHAV. Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. If you're just joining us and you're watching on WHAV.tv or on Haverhill Community Television, HC Media Channel 22, you'll note I have this nifty Market Basket hat on, a Market Basket apron, and my very own name tag, Market Basket. Tim Coco, 0 years. I'm at your service. Yes, I have never worked at Market Basket, but it's the nature of at least the old Market Basket regime to put employees' information right on the badge. All right, before we go on with the Market Basket discussion and take a phone call that's waiting, let me tell you that there are some prizes here as well. First of all, does anyone know when RDT's birthday is? Because we'll take birthday and anniversary cake nominations for August. If you call in a happy birthday wish or a happy anniversary wish, even to yourself, we will put the name in the hat for drawing next week. Next week's the last week, isn't it, Nate? Of the month in the drawing, and the winner will receive a free 7-inch birthday or anniversary cake from LBD's Italian Bakery in Bradford at 140 South Main Street. So no strings attached, except that you have to call me. This is one of the things you have to talk to me in person on the phone. Nominate yourself or someone else. The name goes into literally a hat and is drawn for the free birthday cake. It's a 7-inch cake. You'll have a choice of vanilla or chocolate with house frosting. All you have to do is wait for your name to be called. Our thanks go out to LBD's Italian Bakery for their participation in this contest. You should know also that you don't have to wait to win a cake. You can always drop by there. They've been, this is their second generation Italian bakery. They've been in the business more than 50 years. And besides cakes, they serve Italian breads, or they make Italian breads, cookies, pastries, pizza, meat pies, and more. So that's LBD's Italian Bakery. So call in a happy anniversary wish or a happy birthday wish, and the name will be added. If you've won a prize from WHAV in the last 30 days, we ask that you abstain from participating to give others a chance. Also, let's see, I think we had a trivia question. Oh, who is this from? Was this from Woody or David? Rob Zombie, in a Rolling Stone interview, said he played football in Haverhill. I think it's David Goudswood. David, thank you. It's just like week is forever. All right, so Rob Zombie of Haverhill, in a Rolling Stone interview, said he played football in Haverhill. The question is, where? If you can answer that correctly, do we have the answer written down somewhere? If you can answer that correctly, I believe we were offering one of these Trivial Pursuit pocket games, mini pack. All right, so you have a choice of War and Victory or Flicks. War and Victory or Flicks, the winner. First person who can answer that question. Rob Zombie, in a Rolling Stone interview, played football in Haverhill somewhere. Tell us where. And it's not what you think either. So first person can choose between these plastic-wrapped Trivial Pursuit games, thanks to our friends at Kimball Tavern Antiques at the corner of Salem and South Main Streets in the Bradford section of the city. They're longtime supporters of the program, so check out Kimball Tavern Antiques for the many donations they make to WHAV and to you, listeners and viewers. All right, we have a call. All right. You are on the Open Mic Show.
Good evening, Tim. How are you?
Good. You know, you're listening. You're not watching, right? So you can't see me in my Market Basket outfit.
No, I was hoping. You said that. What kind of a hat? You have a Demoulas hat on, or is it the cowboy hat?
Oh no, I'm wearing a red Market Basket hat.
Oh, red. the color red indicates that you're some kind of a manager. All the managers have red coats. Do you have a red coat on?
No, actually, I have a blue apron.
Oh.
And I was told that
that means that you're a sock boy, or you work bagging at the at the register then.
Yeah, I
because
think
all the managers have red coats.
Yeah, actually, I was seeking a red coat today.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, the British wore red coats, so maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, that's right. The red coats are coming.
Actually, this is the only one I could get. So,
anyway, this problem is going on for how many years?
Oh, more than 20 anyway, right?
Yeah, I can recall when one of the elders in the family, the original owner, passed on, and what was it? The two brothers,
two cousins
were fighting over the asset, the will, and one was saying, well, he sent your son to college for 4 years, so that should be counted as distribution.
Yeah, it's actually, it's kind of funny because I followed this over the years, and I'll be honest with you, until I saw the outpouring of support for Arthur T. Demoulas, I figured they were both kind of difficult players, but if I understand, and Jerry, you seem like you're somewhat familiar with this. I'm going to try to do this off the top of my head. All right, the second generation of the Demoulases, not the parents. The parents sold their store to the brothers. Is it Telemachus, if I'm saying that correctly, or Mike as he was known, and George.
Yeah.
I guess George passed away, 1971 or so? This is off the top of my head.
Yeah, 71, yeah.
So then...
so it was...
So Mike ran the business.
Yeah, that they were fighting about then.
They ran the business, and some of the nieces and nephews claimed that they were cheated out of stock or equity of some kind.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's where the Demoulas and Market Basket names come into play.
Yeah, that's when it all started too.
But either way, I understand that Arthur S. and Arthur T. even had a fist fight in the court.
Wow. Oh,
so, but now, amazingly, it was Arthur S.'s family that won majority control of the company after that court case. And again, anybody who has different information, call the program, let me know. But I guess... Arthur S.'s family won, but there was a relative who couldn't really decide who she was siding with on the board, and so she went with Arthur T., son of Telemachus, or Mike, and so it stayed in the control of that side of the family.
It has until recently, yeah.
And now I guess this relative has kind of switched her support, I think it's her support to Arthur S.'s side. But you know what it really seems to come down to at this point, and this is why I'm wearing this outfit in solidarity, what it seems to come down to is the employees and the managers seem to think that all Arthur S.'s side of the family wants is just more money. The company made revenues of $4 billion last year, which is pretty impressive. And,
I would say it is.
And more than $100 million in profit.
Yeah.
And I would think there's a pretty slim margin on.
Yeah, and you know what's happening? My son kind of went to, I think he went to Stop and Shop today.
Oh.
And he said the store was packed.
Okay.
The store was packed. Number one, the problem is there's a lot of I don't think that, even the truck drivers who ordinarily would transport the food stuffs, fresh fish and chicken and meats and things like that, and the box things like the macaroni and spaghetti and all, and the canned goods. They've more or less gone on strike too, and as a result, the stores are being depleted of inventory to a point where there's no fish being sold, there's no meat, and if there is meat, I'd be a little concerned about number of days till you have to get rid of it, right?
Now, that might be a factor. Now, this weekend, apparently, the warehouse manager was fired by the new co-CEOs. And, of course, first of all, Jerry, maybe you would agree with me. The idea of having two people to serve the single position of CEO seems kind of crazy because
It is.
eventually they're going to be.
You don't see in other businesses, do you?
No, you're going to see them. What if they disagree? You're going to see them having a fight. This will be the next chapter in court.
Yeah, it's like you and Nate being at the same position, having the same position.
Well, he thinks he is, but no. But no, apparently that warehouse manager was fired, along with many others. And there's some names among those who were fired. A lot of people are talking about Tom Trainer, and we'll read his letter after the news. But Mike Kettenbach, I believe he's been there forever, and I believe, I could be wrong, he is the person that most of our local charitable groups call to get permission to do charitable projects on store properties. And as far as I know, they've never been denied.
Yeah. One thing that I can say, though, is whenever it happened, and I don't know when, because they were not what you call great employers for many years, and I'll tell you why. They objected to unions, number one, and the union tried to get into Demoulas's, and my daughter was only she was very young, and she was a bagger or stock shelves or something. She had a menial job, and she signed a petition, and guess what happened?
Oh, was she?
She got the same fate as Arthur. What's his name?
Arthur T. Yes.
Arthur T. She got the same fate.
You know what's funny, and that's we've got to go to news. But what's interesting is if you read the Facebook pages, Save Market Basket, and Save RDT, and Save Market Basket, the employees are still very much anti-union.
I think what happened is that Arthur T. was the champion of the workers. He must have instituted the profit sharing and all these benefits that that they have, and so that's why these workers are dedicated to him, really, because he apparently, and I don't know the details, and maybe somebody can call in and tell you, but he apparently implemented changes and provided benefits, and that was the other good thing. Sharing, and I don't care what it is, even if it was $5 a month or something. When a worker, a menial bag or a stock guy, gets a little bonus from the company, profit sharing. It really is important.
No, you're absolutely right.
And as a result, makes the person work harder. And in addition to that, it's good employee-employer relations, really.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. All right, Jerry, we have to go to news, which will have some an update on market.
Next week we'll talk about what they want to do with proposing for Plum Island and arsenic wells in southern New Hampshire, and cleaning up the Revere area where they want to put the the casino by importing oysters to do bioremediation next week.
It's amazing. We'll never run out of those topics. So I look forward to it next week. And
next week,
thank you, Jerry, for the call, and thanks for the update on what you observed or what you heard about at Stop and Shop.
In the family alone, in families too. For example, my wife wants to continue to go to Demoulas because of the price. And I want to boycott them because of my concern about outdated, things like that, a possibility, and also just the idea of important people getting fired. Really,
Well, actually, I think that's the dilemma most shoppers have. I'd like to hear from more of them. So, stay tuned, Jerry. We'll probably hear some others there.
Yeah, there'll be people that'll say they'd like to boycott. And
Jerry,
then there'll be people that really can't afford to boycott because they like that 4%.
Yeah, I know. You're absolutely right. And
All right, thank
I have
you.
to admit. But thank you very much, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Look forward to your input always. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're going to go a little bit late to local news, national news, local weather. Dana Esmel, news director Dana Esmel, has some news on Market Basket. It's probably quickly becoming dated. I'll give you one fact right now. There's a petition online to reinstate Arthur T. Demoulas, as CEO. Last night, it was around 6,000. We updated our numbers to 8,300 on the web. And now, just before this program started, 13,283 signatures to reinstate Arthur Demoulas Market Basket. I feel like it's election night. We're at 13,283 votes for Arthur T. Demoulas. All right, we'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show. And get your fingers on your dials or push buttons, 978-374-1900. We want to hear from Market Basket workers, Market Basket shoppers. Pro or con? Let's hear your view. We'll be right back.
Open mic.
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:06.
WHAV Merrimack Valley. WHAV is a not-for-profit service of Public Media of New England Incorporated. It's heard on 1640 AM, the web, at whav.net, and participating cable television stations.
Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Simon Marks. A train carrying the bodies of some of the passengers killed in last week's Malaysian Airlines disaster has left rebel-held eastern Ukraine. The bodies will be flown later this week to the Netherlands after an agreement was announced by the Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak. He told reporters in Kuala Lumpur he's received assurances from Russian-backed separatists that the remains will now be handed over to international investigators.
Under difficult and fluid circumstances, we have been discussing the problems that have occupied us all, securing vital evidence from the aircraft, launching an independent investigation, and above all, recovering the remains of those who lost their lives.
In the Netherlands, home to more than half the passengers aboard the jet, families are desperate to get the bodies of their loved ones home. FSN's Dan Whitehead spent the day at Schiphol Airport.
There is still a very sombre atmosphere outside Departure Hall 3 here at Schiphol Airport. The number of flowers and tributes being laid continues to grow day after day, and the queue is steady to now sign the 2 books of condolences. Speaking to locals not only in Amsterdam but in villages and towns across the country, it is clear that what they want now is the focus to be on the bodies to be returned quickly from eastern Ukraine so that they can be given dignified funerals.
President Obama says Russian President Vladimir Putin needs to get serious and use his influence over separatists in eastern Ukraine who are blocking attempts to investigate the jet's last moments. He hinted at further sanctions against Moscow unless immediate steps are taken.
Our friends and allies need to be able to recover those who were lost. That's the least we can do. That's the least that decency demands. Families deserve to be able to lay their loved ones to rest with dignity. The world deserves to know exactly what happened.
And criticism of the Russian government is growing in Europe, where foreign ministers will meet on Tuesday. British Prime Minister David Cameron says it's time to tighten sanctions against Russia.
For instance, future military sales, I don't think, should be going ahead from any country in Europe. We've already stopped those from Britain.
The day's other main story, a soaring death toll in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian officials say more than 500 people have died since the conflict began 2 weeks ago. Another 7 Israelis were killed on Monday as Prime Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pressed ahead with his ground offensive. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is heading to Cairo for talks aimed at securing a ceasefire, but Shashank Joshi with Britain's Royal United Services Institute says he faces an uphill task.
The only way Kerry's going to succeed is if he goes to Cairo and brings together Egypt, Qatar, Turkey and any other interested parties and really knocks heads together to put together a ceasefire that gives something for each side to take away from this.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Here's what's happening in local news. 2 people, including a Haverhill woman, are due to be arraigned in Haverhill District Court on charges stemming from a larceny investigation. Haverhill police report 34-year-old Tiffany A. Trillo of Haverhill and 27-year-old Nicholas L. McClellan of Amesbury were arrested on warrants shortly after 9:30 Sunday night at 12 Grand Avenue. Trillo is charged with larceny over $250. McClellan is charged with malicious destruction of property over $250, malicious damage to a motor vehicle, and assault with a dangerous weapon. No further details are available. 2 Haverhill residents arrested on various motor vehicle charges as the result of a traffic stop Saturday evening. Haverhill police report 23-year-old Keith A. Steele and 21-year-old Renee M. Dupuis were taken into custody shortly before 6 p.m. Saturday at the intersection of Main Street and Plaistow Road. Steele is charged with unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle. Dupuis was arrested on an outstanding warrant charging her with operating an unregistered motor vehicle and operation with a suspended license. They are due to be arraigned on the charges in Haverhill District Court. Haverhill police continue efforts to curb the quality of life issue of public drinking within the inner city. 3 Haverhill residents arrested over the weekend, each charged with a single count of drinking in public. The arrests took place between Friday evening and Saturday night at GAR Park, Vine Street, and on Winter Street. A union representing Haverhill school custodians and cafeteria workers has reportedly endorsed Methuen Democrat Jessica Finocchiaro over freshman state senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives. A source said Service Employees International Union, Local 888, voted Friday to endorse Finocchiaro. Besides Haverhill school workers, SCIU represents more than 8,500 public service workers. Finocchiaro also received the endorsement of Mass Alliance, a coalition of education, environmental, and civil rights groups, according to the group's website. Mass Alliance also endorsed former State Rep. Barbara Italian, a candidate for state senator from Andover. Meanwhile, Ives' campaign said it plans to open its Methuen campaign headquarters tonight at 16 Hampshire Street and its Salisbury office Wednesday night. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Dana Esmel.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with Wave Weather, and as we head through tonight, we're looking at generally clear conditions and temperatures somewhere around 60, and then on your Tuesday, it's partly to mostly sunny and warmer and humid too, with a high of 84, clear to partly cloudy and 68 Tuesday night with a chance of some fog on the coast. Wednesday, fair amount of sunshine, 86 degrees. Well inland, some spots may hit 90, and then we see some showers and thunderstorms for Thursday with a cold front coming in at 78. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
This spot could have been yours. Support WHAV's local approach with your underwriting. Go to WHAV.net and click on support to reach thousands of new customers.
WHAV, Merrimack Valley, open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. I'm Tim Coco, your host. Nathan E. Webster III is producing in master control. All right, if you're just tuning in and if you're watching on WHAV.TV or HC Media Channel 22, Comcast in Haverhill, you'll note, and for listeners, I'll tell you, I'm wearing a Market Basket apron, Market Basket name tag, and a Market Basket hat in solidarity with the workers. Includes managers as well and supervisory staff who are trying to get the former just recently former CEO Arthur T. Demoulas back at the helm of the company. Now, a couple of things before we take a phone call. I wanted to point out that we had on the news today, you may have just heard it, that Andover Senator Barry Feingold, who is running for state treasurer, spoke at the rally this morning with thousands of Market Basket workers. He took the initiative and put together a petition over the weekend. And this is what the petition, how it reads. We, the undersigned, stand today with the thousands of Market Basket employees who have walked out of their jobs in protest of the firing of their beloved CEO, Arthur T. Demoulas. The current actions of the board and officers is one motivated by corporate greed and will only serve to destroy the legacy of the Demoulas family has worked generations to establish. All right. A number of area politicians have signed on to this petition, including Methuen Mayor Stephen Zani and Representative Diana DiZoglio, who represents parts of Haverhill, have signed on. At least as of last night, our local Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives had not signed this petition. I don't know if she has since or plans to, but that might help us segue into our next call. On the line is Democrat Jessica Finocchiaro of Methuen, who is challenging Katie O'Connor Ives for the 1st Essex State Senate post. Jessica, are you there?
I'm here, Tim. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, there's Jessica was in the news as well today, folks, and we did get confirmation of this early today. A union representing Haverhill School custodians and cafeteria workers has reportedly endorsed, matter of fact, we now know, it was confirmed, Methuen Democrat Jessica Finocchiaro over freshman State Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives. Service Employees International Union Local 888 voted Thursday night to endorse Finocchiaro. Am I saying that correctly?
No, but it's close. I'll accept it. It's Finocchiaro.
Finocchiaro. I got to make that a hard C. Okay. Besides Haverhill School Workers, SEIU represents more than 8,500 public service workers. Jessica's also received the endorsement of Mass Alliance, a coalition of education that includes teachers, environmental, and civil rights groups. Mass Alliance has also endorsed former State Representative Barbara L'Italian, who is also a candidate for state senator for the seat that Barry Feingold plans to give up. So, Jessica, thank you for calling into the program. Considering I'm wearing a Market Basket outfit, I think it's a good question. I don't know if Barry Feingold's petition was open to anyone other than elected officials, but let me ask you, maybe hypothetically, if you were an elected official, would you sign this petition in support of the workers?
Absolutely, Tim. I think that's critically important. The only reason I wasn't there at the rally myself is that I already had a coffee breakfast at the North Andover Senior Center that I had planned long in advance. Otherwise, I would have been there in solidarity. I think this is so important. Workers want to be treated fairly and with respect. They want to have fair wages and good benefits, and they want to have job security. And the reason why I support Arthur T. Demoulas is because he has stood up for working families, and that's exactly what I do and why I'm running for state senate.
All right, so that's a nice segue there. Now, I believe you were first formally, not formally, but first notified of the SEIU Local 888 endorsement by WHAV. Have you since received that officially?
Yes, I did. I did. It was really exciting. I was honored to receive it. And I think that it shows really clearly on the strength that we're building in our campaign and also the dissatisfaction that people have with the current incumbent. It's incredibly unusual for any union to endorse against the sitting Democratic incumbent, and there has to be a really good reasons. I believe that reason is because they have been more conservative than some state Republican senators have been. And I think that that's really disappointed people, given that she ran as a progressive Democrat. So that is why, one of the reasons why I'm challenging her, because I believe that when you run on a certain set of values, you are running as a Democrat, and she was elected as a Democrat. And I believe that you need to show those democratic values to your constituents, because that is what won. You know, a Republican didn't win, so voting like a Republican, I think, is dishonest, and I think that's why people were disappointed. I have always stood up in every way that I can. I believe that jobs should pay a livable wage for families, and I think that, you know, people tell me all the time, you know, what do you stand for? What do you stand for? And I think sometimes it's easy for politicians to stand for something. And I tell people, I'm not standing for anything. I'm standing up for people. I think that it's important that you stand up for people and working families, and I believe that that's why I was able to get their endorsement.
And for listener background, you're Methuen's representative to the Greater Lawrence Technical School District School Committee?
Yes, I serve as vice chair as well.
And you're vice chair. And you recently were working for the state, is that right? And are you still working there?
No, I left my position. I work for the Department of Mental Health, managing medication clinics, and I decided to leave because I wasn't able to fulfill the hours that I needed to be able to while I was campaigning. And it's such a critically important position that if I did take a leave of absence, somebody needs to be in that position while I'm gone. So to me, that was the best decision for the Department of Mental Health, was for me to leave while I'm running for state senate.
Well, it's amazing because other elected officials seem to keep their paying job from the state and run and find the time for it. So it's very unusual and laudable that you would not compromise your state job and gave it up.
No, I think it's so important. You know, sometimes I would spend more hours, than was even, in my contract too. But that was because I was really dedicated to what I was doing. It was so critically important to me. It's something that I've worked towards my entire life, and I was very happy with my job and the way that you could directly impact helping people who really did need your help. We did a lot of increasing prevention. We did a lot of increasing services and cutting costs whenever we could, and just reaching out to people and helping people in every way that we possibly could within the parameters of the very underfunded Department of Mental Health. So for me, it would be completely contrary to everything that I believe in to leave such a critical role unfilled for a few months. So,
actually, Jessica, we have to take a brief break for a community spotlight. Would you be willing to stay on the phone for a couple of minutes?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. You can stay with us. We're going to take a brief break for Community Spotlight. We're on the phone with Methuen Democrat Jessica Finicaro, who is challenging freshman state Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives. Finicaro has just said that she supports the market basket workers, our major theme for tonight. So let's take a brief break for Community Spotlight, and then we'll be right back.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
If you want to know what's going on at WHAV, sign up for the free monthly Wavelength newsletter online at whav.net.
Community Spotlight is brought to you by Haverhill Bank. Haverhill Bank is a generous supporter of the area's civic and cultural programs.
That's all it takes is just one bank. Haverhill Bank. Community Spotlight.
The Haverhill Council on Aging is offering tickets for a night out to a ball game on Tuesday, July 22nd to see the Lowell Spinners play the Vermont Lake Monsters at 7 p.m. Grandparents, children, and grandchildren are welcome. Seniors will receive a voucher for a free hot dog and a beverage. For more details, contact Kathy or Rita at the Council on Aging at 978-373-2390. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at WHAV.net or email news@WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Nate Webster.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. This hour of the Open Mic Show is being brought to you by Northern Essex Community College. Expect more at Northern Essex. On the phone right now is Jessica Finicaro. She is challenging freshman State Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives for the Democratic nomination for the 1st Essex State Senate District. Jessica, what I wanted to ask you is, do you have a sense why the custodians and cafeteria workers in Haverhill, among others who are members of Local 888 of SEIU, what it was they liked about your positions?
Well, I believe that they liked that I was first and foremost honest. That's one of the things that I've heard over and over again from people in the district. They like that I really will answer their questions. They like that I give out my cell phone number to people and tell them to call me, if they have anything that I can help them with, whether I win or I don't. I think that they appreciated that I have been a long-standing volunteer and coordinator for other Democratic candidates that I believed in and that I've always been willing to help out. I think that it was helpful that I did everything that I could to help and collect signatures for Raise Up Massachusetts, which right in the district, right in Merrimack Valley, and that was a ballot question that was put forward for increasing the minimum wage and for earned sick time, whereas our current state senator, with so many working families in this district, actually not only voted against raising the minimum wage, but voted against the indexing that made it so that we didn't have to have a huge movement just to have people have a wage that could actually feed their families. And on top of all of that, offered an O'Connor Ives amendment that decreased the minimum wage by a couple of dollars so that it was barely an increase at all. And I think that what was most frustrating to a lot of the unions was that she had promised in writing, right in her questionnaires, in her interviews, in her campaign videos, on her website, and to voters, that she actually would be for that and many other promises. So I think that distrust, that sense of, corporations over people, I think that really has turned people off. And even though it's only been 2 years, I think people have been frustrated because they haven't heard from her in the district. I think that people are frustrated because they feel as if they were sold a product that didn't work for them. So I think that's why people are looking for another option.
Well, that sounds like what is now becoming, I'll paraphrase it, a cliched line. So she was for it before she was against it. Mm-hmm. So that's so it doesn't really matter, individual voters may have differing opinions on the issues, but maybe they can't be sure whether the candidate, that candidate agrees with them.
Right.
So
right.
that's an interesting. Now I understand there have been other situations like that, and we will give equal time. Senator Ives requested, but I understand there have been other issues, like she campaigned in favor of the bottle bill, but then did not co-sponsor it. And again, whether or not listeners agree or disagree with an expanded bottle bill that would bring in your iced tea and your bottled water, whether you agree or disagree, the question is, do you believe what the senator says? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the expanded bottle bill?
I'm definitely for it. I don't see any reason to be against it. It doesn't hurt anybody. All it does is that it adds a lot of, the simplest way that I usually explain it to people is that there are a lot of bottles that you can't recycle. This makes it so that you can recycle them. I think that will help with a lot of different things. It helps not only with recycling, it helps to reduce litter. For somebody who campaigned with such a strong environmental tilt, I can't understand why you wouldn't be for more recycling. And I was frustrated. For example, one of her votes was to have a fine for people who willingly throw bags of trash out of their car on the highway. And I think the voters are at least with me that that's common sense, that you shouldn't be allowed to do that, and that you should be fined for something like that, so that, state workers and city workers will be able to clean that up. And that's part of the reason. You do something, you dirty our community, and you need to pay the consequences. And that's how life works. And she voted against that. And I believe that a lot of these votes...
I actually did not know that. So she voted against fining people who would throw a bag of garbage out their car window.
Yes. And it was very specific. It was a moving vehicle. It has to be a moving vehicle. And I couldn't see any way that could possibly hurt anyone in the district. I felt very frustrated with that. I mean, it's not only, an environmental hazard, it's also a public safety issue. Things in the middle of the road.
I'm not sure I want a McDonald's bag stuck in my windshield when I'm driving down 93.
Right. And for me, these are a lot of common sense things, and I think a lot of people feel that way. And that's why I've made a pledge that I will post all of my votes online, as well as upcoming votes before they're voted on, because I think that it's important that people actually know how their state senator is voting, because a lot of people don't know about these votes. There's hundreds of votes that have happened since 2012, and unfortunately, it's only political insiders who are often paying attention to these votes, because, most of the media isn't covering the majority of the votes, and a lot of the media doesn't even have access to what the votes were, unless they go really far out of their way.
No, you're absolutely right. The media is much thinner than its previous self, which is one reason why WHAV is spending so much time building a news operation. But no, it sounds like, how would you, in your idea for transparency, how would you handle one of those situations where the president of the Senate, and I guess this happened on the EBT bill, just said, oh yeah, all in favor, opposed, it passes without actually taking account? Would you then tell the voters how you would have voted or did vote, despite the fact the Senate president just did it in an odd way?
I think that when that happens, I think it's still important to take a stand whenever you can and let people know how you stand on it. And also open up. One of the things that I've instituted is started to work on programs for unofficial polls, so that people can go onto my website and onto my social media and weigh in on important issues and tell me how they feel about things. I've worked in a senator's office, and I felt that it was a very small amount of people who actually call the office. And that's why I've pledged that I would like to, instead of having a communications director who focuses on things that primarily help me get reelected, I'd rather take their position and have them be a second co-constituent and director, so that we have two people instead of one focusing on helping constituents, fielding calls about their opinions on each and every vote. And I think, to be honest with you, it's something pretty revolutionary in Massachusetts, that people would actually have a very direct impact on what the actual vote would be, and having that direct access. And I've done that as much as I can. I've given people my cell phone number. I've said, encourage people to talk to me, and that's important to me, is making sure that I'm completely accessible. This isn't one of those bait and switch things where I'm going to say I'm going to be very accessible and I'm going to disappear into the Senate office if I'm elected. This is something that I think is going to carry through, and this is what I want to do continuously for the rest of my term. And what's important about that, and what's important to democracy, is for those 2 years, the voters will have access to my votes. And if they don't like the way that I'm voting, they have the ability that they deserve to know the facts and to decide to vote for somebody else if that's what they want to do. But right now, they don't have that choice, and I don't think that helps democracy.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've well-articulated positions on these issues. I imagine we'll have more I think most people, because of vacations and other things, barely even know an election is taking place. So I imagine these will become into sharper focus as the summer progresses. Election day is Democratic primary, or primary day, is September 9th. Not a whole lot of time, is there?
No, not that long at all. So if anybody is listening and they're interested in getting involved and bringing the seat closer to the Methuen, Haverhill, North Andover area, they can go onto my website at www.jessicaforsenate.com. They can call my cell phone at 978-566-1786, or they can send me an email, jessica@jessicaforsenate.com. And to get to your question before about Market Basket, I absolutely really do believe in that. I did sign the online petition that is open to the public, and I would certainly sign the one that is being handled by Senator Feingold. And I would really like to see our current senator, and I've written to her many times, encouraged her to do different things. I've encouraged her to vote for the minimum wage bill multiple times. I encouraged her to vote many times for a lot of these Democratic bills that she voted against. And I certainly would encourage her to vote to support the very reason why I am running, which is standing up for working families, standing up for treating workers fairly and with respect, knowing that you need to pay workers fair wages and give them good benefits, and that is actually a tremendous example of how you can be successful. Look at how successful the Demoulas Market Basket chain has been. It's really, such a beacon and an example in the grocery community, and that was done all with treating people well. So I think that that's really important. I think that it's important to have jobs that pay a livable wage for families, and I'm hoping to bring that. I'm hoping that Senator Ives will sign that bill, even though it's contrary to a lot of her votes and a lot of what I think that she'll be running on for her election. I would still like to see her sign it, and I certainly would sign it if I was able to.
Well, it's a good point you make. Happy workers seem to be productive workers who help companies actually increase profits. Mm-hmm. Just for listeners, one last time, the 1st Essex District includes Amesbury, Haverhill, Newburyport, North Andover Precincts 1 through 4, Merrimack, Methuen, and Salisbury. Quite a few market baskets throughout the territory. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much. Again, listeners, Jessica Finacaro, I'm going to make that a hard C, of Methuen, challenging incumbent freshman state Senator Kathleen O'Connor Ives. Jessica's on record in support of market basket workers. She signed the online petition, which, as of airtime, was more than 13,000 signatures on that, and she said she would sign, if given the opportunity, Senator Barry Feingold's petition that has also earned the support of Methuen Mayor Stephen Zani, I think Representative Frank Moran of Lawrence, Representative Diana DiZoglio of Methuen, and again, at least as of last night, had not been signed by Senator Ives. Well, thank you very much, Jessica. Feel free to keep us up to date as the campaign unfolds.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Okay, I'm running a little behind. We're going to go to local weather. and then we'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show and hopefully your calls at 978-374-1900. And remind me if I get tied up. We have gifts galore. Call and recommend someone for a birthday or anniversary cake, or answer the trivia question for one of these Trivial Pursuit games, and who knows what else we'll have by the end of the show. So we'll be right back with more of the Open Mic Show after this.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:39.
WHAV is on Facebook. For quick access, visit WHAV.net and click on the Facebook icon.
Open Mic!
Every Monday night, the Open Mic Show brings interesting guests into your homes, presents your take on current events, and dabbles in little-known local history. I'm Tim Coco, your host, inviting you to join the chorus of community voices beginning at 6:30 Monday nights right here on WHAV. You may also watch this 50-year staple of democracy live at WHAV.tv and Haverhill Community Television, Channel 22. The Open Mic Show was brought to you by Northern Essex Community College, the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council, and WHAV members. Remember, only local radio can bring you this talk opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Wave weather!
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with Wave Weather, and as we head through tonight, we're looking at generally clear conditions and temperatures somewhere around 60, and then on your Tuesday, it's partly to mostly sunny and warmer and humid too, with the high of 84, clear to partly cloudy and 68 Tuesday night with a chance of some fog on the coast. Wednesday, fair amount of sunshine, 86 degrees. Well inland, some spots may hit 90, and then we see some showers and thunderstorms for Thursday with a cold front coming in at 78. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next Wave Weather in 30 minutes.
Some gold favorites, the most music. WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. I'm Tim Coco. Nathan E. Webster III is in master control. Just a program note, next week, Richard D. Wolff, professor of economics emeritus, University of Massachusetts Amherst, will be joining us on the Open Mic Show specifically to talk about the dispute at Market Basket. I brought it to Professor Wolff's attention. He's now actually visiting professor of in the graduate program in the International Affairs of the New School University, New York City, and he's going to be on the program. I brought to his attention the Market Basket issue, and he responded, "You're absolutely right. This is perfect for what my programs try to do. Thanks so much for bringing this to my attention. I plan to discuss the whole Market Basket controversy on my show this week. If the broader economics of the issues raised by the employees, courageous and important actions might be of interest to WHAV, I'd glad to speak." He said, "Thank you again for getting us this information. It has been very interesting and even exciting for me to learn about the struggles within the Demoulas family and between some of its members, shareholders, and the employees over the profit-sharing plan." We're taking calls, 978-374-1900. Let's go right to the phones. Did you have a thought about the Market Basket dispute?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Thanks for taking my call. As far as Market Basket goes, we've been watching this for decades, and I think it's appalling. These people are billionaires, and they're just playing with our lives. There's no need of any of this. It's really appalling. And I wondered, as far as the elections go, for upcoming elections for state senate, could a caller call in and tell us whether or not Sean Tuohy even has a college degree? Because I'm not sure he does, and I thought that was appalling too, to think he's running for state senate and doesn't even have the discipline to get a college degree. And I wondered maybe if anyone could call in and tell us whether he has any accomplishments since he's been a Haverhill School Board member, because I can't find any.
All right. Well,
thanks a lot. Okay.
No, actually, so before you hang up. This I just wanted to make clear, because I also said this during the interview with Jessica Finicaro. All candidates have an opportunity. All they need to do is call the open mic show or call the business office during the day, and we'll schedule them. All candidates will have an opportunity to air rebuttals and offer their views. And this caller is wondering. Well, this caller, first of all, seems to believe, correct me if I'm wrong, listener, that a college education is a prerequisite for running for state senate, and that you wonder if candidate Sean Tuohy, running as a Republican, indeed possesses one.
Yeah, I think it's important if someone's going to be in a leadership position like that, that they at least have the discipline to fulfill the college degree. I'm just surprised, because we are electing people for the first time who have no legal background to Congress, no environmental policy background, no social policy background. That's kind of scary that's happening. And I want people with a solid educational background in my representing me. That's really important to me. I think we need really educated people, people with a wealth of experience, and maybe even in executive roles, to lead us. So I don't think that's too far out of the ordinary to think that way. But maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe we are going to be electing people who just don't have the necessary skills and the experience to lead us, and that's where we're going. I don't know. I hope not.
Do you watch the Haverhill School Committee meetings? All right, we lost that caller, but okay. I know we have some more callers. Let's go to. We're off. Let's go to just a very brief break. If the callers who are waiting will just bear with us a minute, let's take a very brief break for, I believe, this hour a movie review. Very, very brief. We'll be back with the open mic show in just a second. More than a second.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
This is Phil Christie. Listen to The Wave with fewer interruptions, no pop-ups, and the choice of players by tuning directly from www.whav.net.
Smart companies choose the Merrimack Valley. They're attracted by the region's technology and innovation, housing and education, workforce, arts, culture, and recreation, and convenient location and easy access. Learn more and look at profiles of all 24 cities and towns at the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council website at merrimackvalley.info.
Catch the wave!
Those political sound bites you hear on the news are, at best, incomplete and could be misleading or even outright lies. This is David Pakman. Take time to delve into the truth by listening to The David Pakman Show, Tuesday through Friday nights at 8 on WHAV. Lack of logic and reason are exposed on The David Pakman Show as newsmakers collapse under cross-examination. Remember, only local radio can bring you this talk opportunity. but only WHAV does.
This is Take Two Movie Review. I'm Kim Lowe. This week, a comedy that dares to go where few have gone before. By now, most have heard the buzz about Obvious Child, the new romantic comedy which tackles a subject that few movies, much less comedies, dare to tackle, specifically abortion and the women who choose to make that decision. The plot of Obvious Child is relatively straightforward. It follows the life of a struggling New York City stand-up comedian and used bookstore employee Donna Stern, who after a one-night stand finds herself with an unplanned pregnancy. Like many 20-somethings, Donna's life is far from perfect. It is obvious that she is neither emotionally nor financially ready to be a parent. With the support of her mother and her sympathetic roommate/best friend, played brilliantly by Gabby Hoffman, Donna never wavers from her decision to terminate the pregnancy. However, she does grapple with whether or not to pursue a relationship with the father and whether or not to share her decision with him. It's this, rather than any doubts about her decision, which lies at the crux of the movie. While that alone is causing many who haven't even watched the film to hail it as groundbreaking and provocative, the real question remains: is Obvious Child any good? In a word, yes. However, the movie is not without its flaws. The weakest parts are those when Donna takes the stage as a comedian. The material tries its best to come across as funny and shocking, but is mostly crude and sophomoric. Also, there is an odd subplot with David Cross starring as a would-be boyfriend that just seems to come out of nowhere and distracts rather than adds to the overall plot. Despite its shortcomings, Obvious Child is the obvious choice for those looking for a romantic comedy without the cliches. This has been Take Two Movie Review. I'm Kim Lowe. Catch up with us at TakeTwoMovieReview.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Take2_Review.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
This is the Open Mic Show. This hour of the Open Mic Show is being brought to you by the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. Smart companies choose the Merrimack Valley. And obviously, Market Basket has chosen the Merrimack Valley. Quite a few stores here. We're getting quite a few comments. Before we go to the phone for another comment, this one came from the WHAV message board. This is referring to the new co-CEOs, the co-executives that have been brought in by the board of directors of Demoulas Market Basket. Felicia Thornton was CEO of U.S. operations for Knowledge Universe, a company that operates more than 2,000 for-profit preschools, including KinderCare. The privately held Knowledge Universe is based in Singapore, with American operations based out of Portland, Oregon. Thornton resigned from Knowledge Universe in June 2011 for personal reasons, according to reports. David Goudswood wrote this. He writes, "She resigned for personal reasons. That old resign or get fired switcheroo. She previously was a group vice president for Cincinnati-based Kroger, the country's largest grocery chain. In other words, she has no experience in a close-knit company." David goes on to write about Gooch, the other CEO. He ran Radio Shack into the ground. In other words, they're in there to strip the profitability out of the company for Arthur S., and I guess the carcass would then be sold. I think David has summed up rather nicely some of the arguments we heard at this morning's rally and at Friday's rally in Tewksbury regarding the employees' concerns at Market Basket. You are on the air, Open Mic Show.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hi. I'm calling in because I'd like to say how great Artie Demoulas is.
All right,
I've been working under him for 21 years.
21, okay.
He cares so much about his people. He knows us by name. He cares about our family. He goes to funerals. He not only cares about us, he cares about the customer. He's not gone into debt so he could leave the prices low. And I was out protesting tonight in Haverhill at Market Basket.
Oh,
and
you were?
People were saying, how do you know what the board is thinking? How do you know what they're saying? Well, I don't think we have to be there to know, because a man that has worked in a company since he's been 10 years old, keeps the prices low, brings in a profit, builds 71 stores, does everything for charities, and all of a sudden they just come in and they fire him. So do you really need to know what's on the hearts and minds of this board? When you fire a man who's been successful in bringing in money and doing the right thing. And also, I work for Indian Ridge Country Club, and a few weeks ago,
Oh, you do?
they were coming in to shut us down.
Yeah, listeners, just so you know, Indian Ridge Country Club is owned by the Demoulas Market Basket family. Is that right?
Yes. And they were coming in to shut us down. And I didn't know who they were. They came in with police officers, and they were smiling, and they were happy, and they threatened my boss, and they told us they were going to lock the doors on us, and they were going to, just kick everybody out. And people have been in this company for 50 years. I've been here for 21 years. And, sir, when people come in, they don't come in happy to destroy people's jobs. And these people on the board, one of them is from the board, came in smiling and happy. And, sir, it is disgusting. I am so sorry. I feel so bad. My heart is broken. We are fighting so hard for the CEO to come back because he is a good man and he is out for the customer. I don't know if the customers really realize what we're doing because, they're saying the prices are good, and yes, but the way it's going, we're afraid that this company is going to come in and destroy Market Basket as we know it.
Now, you were, how many people were with you tonight at Market Basket in Haverhill?
That were out there, maybe about 10.
Oh, it's good to see that. Now, which stores were you at?
I was at Haverhill in I can't think, where Marshall's is.
Okay, Westgate Center.
Yes, and I was standing out there, and people were asking me, how do you really know they're out to destroy the company, and how do you really know what they're thinking? But I said to them, my response to them is, when you are looking out for the best interest of a company, you come in, you want the best for the company. You don't go and fire a man who's worked there since 10 years old, who's given to charities, who's built up 71 stores, who is always looking out for the best interest of the customer and his people. And this is what they did. They fired him for no reason.
Well, it's interesting.
So we don't need to know what's in their minds or their hearts to know that they're not doing the right thing by the company. And not only that, sir, the men that they fired yesterday were there for 49 years, 41 years, 29 years. They send a carrier and they give them their walking papers, and then they tell them how to go to get employment.
Now, it's incredible.
Do you really need to know what type of people we're dealing with?
Have you heard anything today about whether the board of directors has met as they said they were going to?
They weren't going to meet. They were going to talk on the phone.
Oh, that's right.
And it really was, to me, a stall tactic. I don't know, because they fired the men that they were going to talk to.
Oh, really?
Over the weekend.
Oh, so a couple of the employees who were managers who were fired over the weekend?
I believe so, yes. They were going to talk to them, but they fired them.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. That's an interesting development.
As far as I know, I'm not, an expert, but as far as I know, they were going to talk to them, but they fired them. They fired, 8? And what concerns me is they're not doing the right thing by the people. They're not doing the right thing by the employees. And we're appealing to them to bring Arthur back. That's all we're asking for, sir. We're not asking for more money. We're not asking for better positions. We're asking to bring the man who built up Market Basket as everybody knows it Bring them back. And it's a decent thing to do, and they're not doing it.
Well, what's interesting, what really makes this case so interesting, is that this is not a company that's losing money. This is a company that brought in $4 billion in revenues.
That's right.
More than $100 million in profits.
That's right.
But apparently, this is my opinion. Apparently, more than $100 million in profits is just not enough for those.
Well, I don't know everything, but I know some things, and I know Mr. Demoulas did not take out debt, because when you take out debt, you got to pay that debt back, which you got to put into the prices of the food. So he kept out of debt so he could keep his prices down. What I've heard, and I don't know for sure, is that the board wants to take out loans. They want to take out money, and they want more money, which is going to cause the prices to go up.
I see what you're saying. Can you say, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I wondered if that 4% premium, the nice 4% off your total purchase, whether that was Arthur T's way of thanking shoppers for their support of him last year when they tried to oust him. Would you know?
Yeah, I don't really know for sure, but I believe Arthur is appreciative of his customers, of his people. I mean, this man is so down to earth, sir. And yes, he does have money, but he comes in and he's so warm, and he knows your name, and he cares. Like one of my colleagues at work had cancer. He wanted to make sure I had cancer. He wanted to make sure that she got the best care. And he knows the people by name. And that always blew my mind, sir, because this man is very wealthy. And he doesn't even have to look at us. And yet he comes in, and he's so warm and so caring and so family-oriented that you cannot help but love him. And this is who they took away. This is who they fired for no reason, sir. And this is why people are willing to lose their jobs to get him back. And the customers, I don't really think they know exactly why we're doing what we're doing, but I'm telling you, it's because we believe that this board is out to destroy Market Basket as we know it.
Well, we really appreciate your taking the time to call in with your views. And in fact, we're going to be sharing your views on our newscast tomorrow. Here's something else that might interest you. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the program.
Okay.
But economics professor Richard Wolff from University of Massachusetts Amherst, where he taught from 1973 to 2008, has become very interested in this case. He often speaks of workers' rights and advocates for workers to have a role in management decisions. He's going to be on the Open Mic Show next week to talk specifically about this Market Basket case, so you might want to spread the word.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for taking the time.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to me.
No, thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, I know we had a call waiting on that cake. You want me to take that before the news? All right, let's try to squeeze in a birthday cake call. I'm not known for keeping on time anyway, so we'll see what we can do. All right, you're on the Open Mic Show. Do you have a cake entry?
I do. I want to wish Chloe a happy birthday.
Chloe, a happy birthday. When is Chloe's birthday?
August 9th.
August 9th. So we're giving away our August cakes, I think, next week. All right, so Nate has the information. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right, and where are you listening from, or how are you listening?
I'm listening to television in Haverhill.
All right, well, thank you very much for your call. Did you have a thought on the Market Basket matter?
Do I have a thought? I have lots of thoughts, but I'm just going to keep them as thoughts.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Happy birthday to Chloe. Take care. Bye. All right, we're going to go to news. We'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show after an update on the Market Basket situation and some politics, local weather, and then back to the Open Mic Show. Please stay tuned.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 8:03.
WHAV Merrimack Valley. WHAV is a not-for-profit service of Public Media of New England Incorporated. It's heard on 1640 AM, the web, at whav.net, and participating cable television stations.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Simon Marks. A train carrying the bodies of some of the passengers killed in last week's Malaysian Airlines disaster has left rebel-held eastern Ukraine. The bodies will be flown later this week to the Netherlands after an agreement was announced by the Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak. He told reporters in Kuala Lumpur he's received assurances from Russian-backed separatists that the remains will now be handed over to international investigators.
Under difficult and fluid circumstances, we have been discussing the problems that have occupied us all, securing vital evidence from the aircraft, launching an independent investigation, and above all, recovering the remains of those who lost their lives.
In the Netherlands, home to more than half the passengers aboard the jet, families are desperate to get the bodies of their loved ones home. FSN's Dan Whitehead spent the day at Schiphol Airport.
There is still a very sombre atmosphere outside Departure Hall 3 here at Schiphol Airport. The number of flowers and tributes being laid continues to grow day after day, and the queue is steady to now sign the 2 books of condolences. Speaking to locals not only in Amsterdam but in villages and towns across the country, it is clear that what they want now is the focus to be on the bodies, to be returned quickly from eastern Ukraine so that they can be given dignified funerals.
President Obama says Russian President Vladimir Putin needs to get serious and use his influence over separatists in eastern Ukraine who are blocking attempts to investigate the jet's last moments. He hinted at further sanctions against Moscow unless immediate steps are taken.
Our friends and allies need to be able to recover those who were lost. That's the least we can do. That's the least that decency demands. Families deserve to be able to lay their loved ones to rest with dignity. The world deserves to know exactly what happened.
And criticism of the Russian government is growing in Europe, where foreign ministers will meet on Tuesday. British Prime Minister David Cameron says it's time to tighten sanctions against Russia.
For instance, future military sales, I don't think, should be going ahead from any country in Europe. We've already stopped those from Britain.
The day's other main story, a soaring death toll in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian officials say more than 500 people have died since the conflict began 2 weeks ago. Another 7 Israelis were killed on Monday as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pressed ahead with his ground offensive. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is heading to Cairo for talks aimed at securing a ceasefire, but Shashank Joshi with Britain's Royal United Services Institute says he faces an uphill task.
The only way Kerry's going to succeed is if he goes to Cairo and brings together Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and any other interested parties and really knocks heads together to put together a ceasefire that gives something for each side to take away from this.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Here's what's happening in local news. Supporters for ousted Market Basket President and CEO Arthur T. Demoulas await the next move of the company's board of directors. An emergency meeting of the board is scheduled later on Monday to take up the demands of company managers and others seeking to reinstate Arthur T. Demoulas. This morning, another rally was held at a Market Basket store in Tewksbury by a group of Arthur T. supporters known as Save Market Basket. In a Facebook post, the group says the rally is the opportunity to stand against injustices. It alleges people who built the company are being systematically terminated unjustly. The latest rally comes in the wake of reports a number of senior managers were fired over the weekend, purportedly for speaking at a Friday rally in support of the former CEO. The managers named were Tom Trainer, Tom Gordon, Joe Garin, Steve Paulenka, Jim LaCourse, Joe Schmidt, and Mike Kettenbach. Supporters have also gathered more than 6,000 signatures on a website seeking Demoulas' reinstatement. Meanwhile, Andover Senator Barry Feingold, a candidate for state treasurer, is lining up political backing for Market Basket employees. His proposed boycott of the supermarket chain has attracted support from Methuen Mayor Steve Zani and Representative Diana DeZoglio, among others. The statement reads, quote, "We, the undersigned, stand today with the thousands of Market Basket employees who have walked out of their jobs in protest of the firing of their beloved CEO, Arthur T. Demoulas. These employees know that Market Basket has been the chosen supermarket of so many people looking to save money on groceries. They know that the leadership of Arthur T. Demoulas is the reason Market Basket has been able to keep prices low while delivering quality products to mainly underserved areas. The current actions of the board and officers is one motivated by corporate greed and will only serve to destroy the legacy the Demoulas family has worked generations to establish." End quote. As WHAV first reported Friday, several stores are running out of products. A Haverhill store manager who requested anonymity said the company's warehouses are not currently staffed, affecting delivery to individual stores. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Dana Esmail.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with Wave Weather, and as we head through tonight, we're looking at generally clear conditions and temperatures somewhere around 60, and then on your Tuesday, it's partly to mostly sunny and warmer and humid too, with a high of 84, clear to partly cloudy and 68 Tuesday night with a chance of some fog on the coast. Wednesday, fair amount of sunshine, 86 degrees. Well inland, some spots may hit 90, and then we see some showers and thunderstorms for Thursday with a cold front coming in at 78. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Phil Christie here. Are you listening to WHAV on cable television? If so, join WHAV in thanking the board, staff, and members of your local public access channel.
From the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. This hour of the Open Mic Show is being brought to you by the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. Smart companies choose the Merrimack Valley. That was quite an emotional call we received from the listener a moment ago, and lines are open. Our television editing equipment, our switching equipment is giving us a little bit of a problem right now. We ask that you bear with us, but WHAV is primarily a radio station, so hopefully the pictures don't mean all that much to you, except that you can't see me wearing my Market Basket garb. So thankful to the worker who provided this to me. Market Basket apron, name tag, and look at this nifty hat. All right. We're going to take more calls, 978-374-1900. Do we have a call waiting? Because I don't have anyone in queue. All right. In any event, next week on the Open Mic Show, Richard Wolff, professor of Economics Emeritus at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, will be on the program specifically to talk about this employer-employee dispute, or more likely employees versus the board of directors of Demoulas Market Baskets. Richard Wolff wrote, thank you again for getting us this information. It has been very interesting and even exciting for me to learn about the struggles within the Demoulas family and between some of its members, shareholders, and the employees over the profit-sharing plan, etc. Richard Wolf, by the way, you might find interesting, bachelor's in history from Harvard College, master's in economics from Stanford University, master's in history from Yale University, and a PhD in economics from Yale University. So it's Dr. Richard Wolf. All right, you're tuned correctly for the Open Mic Show. Again, we are having some video issues. I hope you can bear with us during this time. All right. Those of you who are just tuning in, we've been discussing Market Basket and a very, very unusual situation where employees and managers and rank and file workers from every department